So I am here with Niki Kini, a singer-songwriter from Oxford. She's a multi-genre artist exploring pop, R&B, dance, and now she's released her new single, Salesman. Welcome to the show. Can you tell us a bit more about you as an artist and how you got your start in music?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, I mean, I've been making music for the last like 8 years now, which is kind of crazy. Because I'm only 23, so I'm still young. Um, but yeah, I mean, a little bit about me. I'm a pop R&B artist. I'm London based, and I write all my own stuff. And I'm really just trying to make moves in the music industry because as a little brown girl, I didn't see a lot of brown girls in the music industry to look up to. So trying to do it for the girls and
Yes,
the
of
guys.
course. Yeah, we need that brand representation. You've said
100%.
in previous interviews that you grew up listening to radio pop,
Yeah.
R&B, UK hip hop, rap. Who are your top influences from those genres?
Yeah. I mean, they're so versatile, to be honest with you, and you can probably hear it, especially with my music. It's a little bit all over the place sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I really grew up on artists like Amy Winehouse, Pink, a little bit of 50 Cent, ABBA, like all sorts of artists. So yeah, for me, like radio was always kind of like a safe space for me. I don't know why. I think because obviously my parents didn't listen to a lot of UK pop music and that kind of thing. So all those car journeys to school, I really did grow up on that.
Did you have a favorite radio station?
Yeah, do you know what? When I was really young, it used to be Heart Radio, and then kind of as I got a bit older, Radio One, Radio One all the way. Loved a bit of Nick Grimshaw in the mornings.
Yeah, the classic. So
Yeah.
I've seen from previous like media outlets, it said that you started YouTube when you were 11. It said you started YouTube when you were 13. Can you clarify when you started YouTube and what made you want to start posting on YouTube?
You know what? Off the top of my head, I genuinely can't remember. It was probably I bet you it was when I was 12. It wasn't when I was 11, it wasn't when I was 13. Yeah, around that age, I can't remember exactly. But I was definitely quite young. And I really started YouTube because my favorite artists at the time were Justin Bieber, and I was also a big fan of Madison Beer. And that's kind of how they got their foot in the door in the music industry. And so for me as like a little brown girl, I didn't have any music connections. That wasn't the usual direction that um, Asian people went in, or at least my family wasn't kind of particularly straying from the classic doctor, lawyer, all of those kinds of career paths. And so for me, like that was kind of my attempt of getting into the music industry, and for some reason, by the gods, it worked.
Yeah, it's such like an organic way to build an audience, especially in that time as well. Even
100.
now, you still post on YouTube, but now you do more vlogs. What makes you still want to be connected with that audience?
I think like for me personally, like that's where I started, that's kind of where I began putting myself in the face of the media, if you like. And don't know, I think it's quite a comforting place. I don't think it's as judgmental as places like Instagram or TikTok, the short form content stuff. Because if you really don't care, you're really not gonna watch. Whereas anyone who is tapped into what I'm doing, then, there's a little bit more, it's a little bit longer content there. So yeah.
Of course, I love the way that you're still connected with that audience and you haven't completely abandoned it.
We're coming back. We're coming back. I did give it a big break for a while, but I'm making a return.
Yes. From your first single, Bow Down, how would you say your musicality has evolved from then? And even just going back to that time, where was you at? What made you want to release that song as your first debut?
Yeah, I mean, when I put out Bow Down, I must have been like 16 years old. So, coming up to like 8 years now, which is kind of crazy. I guess at the time, I wasn't expecting to be an artist when I started going into studio sessions, etc. I kind of found my manager, and then things went from there. And obviously, my dream was to be an artist, but I just didn't know how to kind of navigate that situation. And so for me, it was a lot of experimental, experimenting with different sounds. I knew I wanted to be a pop artist. I just didn't know what kind of capacity. And I think if you listen to my discography, you can kind of see that over the years that like we start going a little bit over here and then it's a little bit over this way. But I feel like I've really found my sound now, and I'm really like really truly love the music that I make. And I think if you listen to kind of the tracks that have been released over the last few years, you can hear the development. Not just like in my voice and like the way that I sing. If you listen to Bow Down, I sing with a god awful American accent. It's just terrifying. It's so scary to listen back to. But yeah, I think it's just about developing not just like through music, but as a person. I was 16 then, and I'm a bit older now. So yeah, I think you develop with your experiences as well.
Yeah, let's go through some of your tracks. So, starting with like Money Talks, which is a clear dance track, and No Shade, which is more R&B. How did you
Yeah,
approach songs that are just completely different genres?
I think my one thing about making music is to just have fun with it. I think sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves, and so Money Talks is like a dance track, and it's a lot of fun, and it was actually really simple to obviously do in the studio because Money Talks is another song, so I didn't have to write it or anything like that. So yeah, I think like focusing on the vibe, just really important to, whenever you're in a particular headspace, to take that energy and, create something beautiful. I always say that you can make really beautiful things out of sometimes very negative experiences. And I think that is truly where the beauty in music lies, and why I love writing and recording so much.
Wow. Okay, let's go through some of your tracks and if you could tell me a little bit about each one. So starting off with Better Off that got released in 2021, where was you at the time? What was the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, I mean, Better Off was a long time ago now, so it feels like it. Um, yeah, that song, I remember I was kind of in a bit of a rut mentally because I wasn't going into a lot of studio sessions at the time, and I think it was just post COVID, so we were kind of getting back into normal life and stuff like that. And I remember that song I actually wrote about a crush, but I was trying to convince myself that I was like, he's not even paying me any attention. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand.
Okay, let's get into Villain of 2022. What was the inspiration behind that one?
Oh, the inspiration. Do you know what? I actually got sent that track by a good friend of mine, Aubrey, and he was like, "Do you want to hop on this?" And I remember exactly where I was. I was by the bus stop in Oxford because that's where I grew up. And I wrote the whole verse there and then in the bus stop waiting for the bus because I lived in the countryside, so the buses take forever to come. Wrote the whole verse, laid it on my phone, sent it over, and he was like, "Sick, let's record it. It's in." So yeah, I mean, it was a really cool song. I mean, if you listen to the song, it's kind of like a bit of a juxtaposition, if you like, because it's all about like being the villain. And then it's like you hear my verse, and it's all like sultry little vocals on it. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to record that one.
I love the spontaneity of that. I feel like sometimes the best music comes out in situations like that.
Um,
In 2023, you actually didn't release any songs. What happened in that year? Where was you at? Why did you not release anything?
yeah, do you know what? I mean, I've been inconsistent with my releases over the years. Largely based on the fact that I've had like different management come in, and all those kinds of things play a bit of a role in kind of your artist development, if you like. Everyone comes in and they want to develop you as an artist, and you think it's great. Sometimes it is, not always. And it kind of, the result of that sometimes is that you don't end up putting out any music out, or it doesn't feel right. I think just didn't feel like I was heading in the right direction in the studio sessions that I was in. It wasn't a case of I took a year off music or anything like that. It was just that those songs that I was making were obviously detrimental to my development as an artist, but not necessarily for the world to hear. Sometimes in the backpack, it doesn't need to come out.
That's fair. Nonetheless, you came back swinging in 2024 with Watch Your Back, which is a great tune. What was the process behind making that track?
Thank you so much. Yeah, do you know what? Out of all of my tracks that I put out, Watch Your Back is like my little baby. Watch Your Back is seriously like I really love her. She's so cute. Um, that song really came from a place of like I was thinking about quitting music. I was like not sure if this was for me, if I was ever going to do anything, if I was good enough. I was like going through all of those conversations. I'd been through another situation where management was involved and then they left, and it was just like, oh my God, all of this stuff. And I think, as a young artist, it does massively take like a toll on your mental health, being told that you're going to be like the next shiny thing, and then all of a sudden everyone's run the other way and you can't even get a text back. Like it's definitely a tricky one to navigate. So Watch Your Back for me was really a song of like, no, I'm not giving up just yet. I'm not ready to give up just yet. I'm coming back, and I'm coming back harder. So, watch this space, watch your back. Like, you decided that I wasn't good enough. Ooh, I don't know about that.
I
So yeah,
love
it was kind
that.
of like a woman type thing.
Yeah, I love that because I feel like that's a testament to your growth, even in your release of 2025. Like, you really have come back swinging. In a little bit, I want to get more into like the behind the scenes and your personal journey with music because I feel like it really shows in your career. And even as you was talking about that rough year you had, it's all in that one track, and it's such a good tune. It really encompasses what you was personally going through. So going
Thank you.
back to your tracks in 2025, of course, you've had a lot of releases. Done Me Wrong.
Yes, Done Me Wrong. Done Me Wrong was kind of came off of the back of Watch Your Back. Although it's a slightly different style, um, it's definitely one of those songs like if you listen to the lyrics, there are definitely like you can tell it's the next track after after Watch Your Back. I wasn't quite done with that topic, I don't think. Again, it's on a similar wave, if you like. It was also kind of from that point on, I kind of knew that I wanted to put out a project, and I started thinking about the wider picture a little bit. So just from like a business point of view, I started, really looking at things, just like by taking a step back and just seeing the bigger picture. Was just one of those like again, it was kind of like a head boppy song, like you don't have to be blasting it, screaming it. It's just like an easy kind of listen where you're just like bopping along. And I think something that I learned from Watch Your Back, or at least at that point when we wrote that song, something I realized with my producer is that I'm not so fussed about what genre it is, or any of that kind of stuff that I know a lot of like industry heads do really really care about. For me, it's really important to create a vibe. Obviously it has to fit in the same lane, and I get that, and I feel like my music does, but again, it's just more about the vibe and just about the emotion that it creates for a listener.
Yeah, of course. And what about All Things Nice?
Yeah, so All Things Nice was the single before Salesman, and yeah, I mean again, that is a there's a bigger meaning behind it, but I don't want to go into it too much because I don't want to give too much away just yet. But yeah, I mean All Things Nice is it's a fun song. Like I wanted like a little summer banger because obviously we put out Watch Your Back in November, and then Done Me Wrong came out in I think February or March. So I wanted like a summer bot. Everyone always says, "Oh, there's no song of the summer," and I was like, well, "This is my song of the summer." So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun to write, and if you like listen to the lyrics and stuff, it's it's playful, it's fun, and that's really what I love doing as a writer.
Yeah, how would you say your writing has evolved from, of course, your first song to now?
I think I just have fun with it. I really don't care in terms of like, sometimes you think like, can I say that? And I do. I sit in studio sessions and I turn to my producer and I go, is that a step too far? And it will be like, I don't know, he's minted but needs a tic tac, like lyrics like that. And it's just like, it's almost so silly that you're like, does that work? Or is it just a bit like too cheesy? Is it a step too far? Will the audience get it? And I think like now I attribute that as like that's part of my personality. And I feel like my fan base, like that element. It's fun. Just have a bit of fun. Life's too short to take things too seriously. That's what my music is about right now. Just having a bit more fun.
100%. And you definitely get that. Like, your lyricism is very playful, it's very like tongue in cheek. And I feel like if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you just don't.
Exactly. The girls who get it.
Exactly. So going into your background, your parents are from India and moved to Oxford before you were born. How do you think your upbringing and culture shaped who you are today and your musicality?
Yeah, I mean, so I grew up in Oxford, like you said, which was a very, grew up in quite a like a bicultural environment, yet still very heavily influenced by kind of Caucasian culture. Sorry, I can't get my words out. Very heavily influenced by Caucasian culture. And I think because I grew up in that environment, I kind of removed myself from, my South Indian heritage a little bit. I was, it's the classic, you don't want to like not you feel like you don't fit in. And so for me, I think I hid a little bit. I hid a little bit from kind of um, my South Indian side, which I now, am proud and will shout it from the rooftops. But it took me a minute to come into my shell a little bit, or come out of my shell.
Yeah, of course. You can even get that from your lyrics of sticky situation, they're beefing because I'm Asian. What was the
Yeah.
meaning behind that?
Yeah, again, like this is me just having a bit too much fun in the studio, obviously. But yeah, I mean that lyric is that I mean the song is about kind of like facing my haters and as I've kind of had more viral videos, etc., I have had more hate, particularly on Instagram, and it's quite interesting because when you look at the comments, to be honest with you, just unnecessary. There's really no need. And so All Things Nice was written about kind of those experiences that I'd had. And so the line is they're beefing because I'm Asian, but obviously being a Hindu, I don't eat beef. So then the next line says, I don't even eat beef. And so yeah, it was just me having a little bit too much fun, to be honest.
Yeah, I love it. And how do you find, obviously, representing women in the industry, which is often described as a male-dominated industry, and also being a brown woman, how do you find representing the culture not only for you, but I think there's an added pressure for brown women because there's not so many of us. It's like you have to be the token brown girl in a way to do what you do. How do you find that sort of pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely hear it. I think it's a very male-dominated industry. Any studio session you go into, it's 98% going to be a guy sitting in the producer chair. I think as as a woman of any color, you have to dominate your presence, and that can be really hard depending on your kind of personality. I think I've become a lot more straw, I think, but for a very, very long time, being quite young as well, going into those studio sessions where you're with more experienced people, sometimes it's hard to kind of have your voice heard, or have the guts to kind of make your presence known in those studio rooms, especially when you're working with bigger artists, bigger producers, writers, whatever it is. I think as a brown woman, there's that added layer, so you're even further removed in a lot of scenarios. I'm quite lucky that I've worked with a lot of brown producers, less so writers and artists, but I think there is a proper growing community within the music industry in the UK, within the South Asian community, or within the Asian community as a whole. So to be a part of that and to be represented at different events and to connect with people is amazing. And it's like, yeah, to some people I may seem like a token brown girl, but I'm looking both ways, and I can see my other friends doing it, from the brown community, and it's amazing to be able to uplift each other and represent each other in different ways. It's something that not everyone has had growing up, and I speak from experience, so it feels really special.
Yeah, I love the way that you worded that because it is true that a lot of other people or the industry will kind of paint this token label on you, but as peers, we all vouch for each other and we'll all put each other on. And I think now, especially, we're seeing a lot more representation in industries, especially creative ones, which I feel like we didn't have as much as growing up, unless it was Bollywood. It wasn't as much Western culture. So I love the fact that we're all kind of on the come up together and we can all support each other.
100%. I think a lot of people sometimes like look at your peers, especially in the music industry, and you think, oh, she's doing that, he's doing that, and I'm not, and you end up falling into a routine of comparison. Truly, you can be on different paths. You can still end up at the same point. You're just on different paths. Like I think, the quote comparison is the thief of joy is so, so true. Just focus on your own craft and, build those relationships. You never know who's going to be your best friend. And what that can do for you if you're going to be very like focused on your career, but also just from like a support point of view, it's really important, as a creative. It feels like the world's on top of you sometimes. It's important. Keep them close, is what I would say.
100%. And how have you found being an independent artist and doing this all on your own?
Oh, baby, it's hard out here. It is hard out here. It is a tremendous amount of work. I just think if you are not 100% set on being an artist, I don't think you'd survive in this climate, in this industry, without the motivation, because it requires so much motivation because there's so much hard work that goes into it. I as an artist, I share a lot of kind of what goes into it on, vlogs and my social media and stuff. But that's still just, that is just the icing on the cake. There's all the batter that goes into baking the cake, that no one sees. So, as an independent artist, there are obviously a lot of us, and it's amazing because you can kind of take back control of your music and that kind of those kinds of elements. But there's a lot that goes into it without a full kind of team around you. So yeah.
Yes. You did like a TikTok once and you kind of talked about your experience balancing a corporate job and your creative work. How do you find that? And obviously turning your creative into your full time. How do you find that process?
Yeah, I mean, working in a corporate job and doing music is basically like working two full-time jobs. It is hard work. I think a lot of artists have to do it. It's just the reality. That is just, in order to kind of fund your music and, push um well, actually, more than anything, to survive, to survive day in and day out, you do need a corporate job or any kind of job. But obviously, it's very taxing, because when I'm at work, I'm thinking about music. When I'm at doing music stuff, I'm thinking, oh, I got to do this for work. So, it just puts you in a bit of a sticky situation sometimes. But equally, you got to do what you got to do. And if you want something enough, you gotta do it. I just am paying my dues, and I'm hoping that things head in the right direction until music can actually support me full time. This is just kind of what I gotta do for now.
Yes, and it will. We will speak it into existence.
100% manifestation, so real.
Exactly. Even like obviously when you're hustling from nothing to something, you may look
Yeah,
at metrics a lot and you may look at audience numbers a lot because you think if I get a certain amount of views, it will equal success. How do you
yeah.
detach yourself from that and value yourself regardless of metrics and numbers?
That's a great question. It's a hard one. I think it's a really hard one. As an independent artist who looks up to the bigger artists, and you kind of look at their success, and the way that labels and the music industry kind of looks at their success is the numbers. They got a number one album, they surpassed 1 billion streams, whatever it is. So I think it's kind of hardwired into your brain that you need those things in order to be deemed successful. I think success comes from within. I know that sounds awfully deep, but I think it really just depends on what you define as a success metric for yourself. It's important to remove yourself away from things, because I think for me personally, at least, when I put a lot of expectation on something, you're so focused on the outcome, which actually more times than not is not actually in your control. So why worry about something that's not in your control? I would much rather just focus on the process and making sure that it's a piece of work that I'm really proud of. And if it gets, I don't know, 1,000 streams, then those 1,000 people love it. If it gets 100,000 streams, then amazing. That's great for me. But yeah, I think as much as you can, just try and not look at the numbers. I know that's so much easier said than done. I'm guilty of it myself. But I think it's important to just remove the art from the results, because it's really just focus on the art. Numbers and art don't need to mix.
100%. I feel like a lot of the start of a hustle is like a mental game of you're trying to be creative and you're also fighting all these outside perspectives and what other people want you to do. And once you like really unlock the key, you've made it, you've done it, and it will all fall into place. But it really is just that journey of figuring it out. You have
100%.
had a really big year. So this year, your song was played on BBC Asian Network, and you, of course, recorded your mom's reaction to your song being on the radio. How did you feel when you heard your song on the radio for the first time?
Oh man, I mean, it's getting radio support, especially by such an esteemed radio station, is always heartwarming, because it's as an independent artist and you put out music, you really don't know who's going to support it and who's going to fight in your corner. And so, I had a big break from releasing music, and then we didn't really know what the support was going to be like. Previous people that I'd worked with had kind of suggested that my music was never going to be something that would be heard mainstream. It just wouldn't fit. It wasn't the right vibe, all of that kind of stuff, which was really disheartening. And then obviously Jasmine Tacker supported it on her show when I was there, BBC Introducing Artist of the Week, um, Asian Network Introducing Artist of the Week, which was amazing. So yeah, it was really exciting, to be fair, to film my mum. She does not like being on camera, so she was like, well, "What's going on?" But yeah, we caught her reaction. She was very happy bunny for me, so it worked out.
It was a lovely reaction. I love that you always record like your family's reaction to you getting different successes because we can really see the journey. You was also performing at Reading and Leeds Festival and you recorded their reaction for that. How did you prepare for that performance? It's a big festival.
Oh my goodness. It was, I think I had about 3 months to prepare, like when I found out, versus when I was going to be performing there. I actually put out a Reading and Leeds vlog. So for anyone who is interested, it's basically about my whole prep, the whole 90 days of prep from the moment that I got told I was going to perform. Um, yeah, there was so much that went into it, to be honest with you. I went from kind of going to the gym like twice a week, if that, and I was in the gym like 5 times a week at minimum. Just I really wanted to get my cardio all the way up. Stamina is so important. I'm someone who likes to have a boogie around on a stage. I truly do. So, it was really important for me to not be out of breath on that stage and, be able to dance my little heart away, which I was really proud of myself, because I was able to. Yeah, there was so much that went into it, just really just like locking in and being like, I am an artist. I am going to own that stage and everybody's going to know who I am by the time I'm done.
Exactly, as you should. And I feel like you did that. I saw the clips and it looked like such a good performance. So, congratulations. It was a great gig.
Thank you.
And of course, you have Salesman that is out. Tell us a bit about that track, your new release.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy Salesman is out in the world. This song is such a cute, fun, girly anthem, in my opinion. Not that I'm biased, but yeah, it's a really cute song. And I mean, the concept of the song, if you've heard it, is basically about what something I personally think every woman goes through, where, if you're seeing a man or you're in a relationship with a guy, then they more times than not will sell you a dream. We've all had those kind of situationships, if you like, where a guy will come along and, tell you that like he's going to be able to give you this and that and it's going to be amazing. And the whole concept of the song is that he's not your ex-boyfriend, he's not a boyfriend, he's not a lover, he is a salesman, and you keep falling for it. Every time he calls you, you're picking up and you're falling for it all over again. But yeah, it's just like a playful, cute song. There's like a little dance for it, and the music video is actually dropping this Friday, which is very exciting. So everyone could go watch that. It's kind of my first proper music video, so I'm definitely excited for the world to see it.
I love that concept because I feel like that is so relatable for every girl. Every girl's been in that situation.
Oh, girl, I know.
And of course, you've released a good couple singles this year. Are we gearing up for a project, an EP, an album, maybe?
We are gearing up for a project, a little EP. I haven't really properly done a an announcement for the EP, but I've been doing a few radio interviews, and anyone who's clocked in will know. Yeah, there is an EP coming at the start of 2026. I am beyond excited. This will be my first debut project of any kind, actually. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for what's to come.
I'm so excited, and we'll definitely still be tuning in, ready for that release. Are you now ready for some quick fire questions?
I'm nervous. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, question number one. If you were a boxer, what would your ring walk song be?
My ring walk song, right there, Chingy.
Good answer. If
Bring the vibes.
yeah, exactly. If you were in a food fight, what would your food of choice be?
Food of choice. For throwing or for being hit with?
For throwing, what is your weapon?
Do you know what? I think rice pudding.
Good
An
answer.
interesting choice. I just feel like that would just like feel kind of interesting. I don't know.
Like
That seems
kind of
weird.
sticky, like kind of
Yeah, kind
yeah,
of delicious.
exactly.
Best of both worlds.
Exactly. What childhood movie shaped you as a kid?
Oh, childhood movie. Trying to think. Maybe The Hangover. I feel like I really liked The Hangover. I just feel like it just taught you to, just kind of go with the flow, have more fun, have more fun.
That's so funny because is that even a kid's film?
Oh,
It's okay. We was all young watching like inappropriate movies. We've all been there, you know.
it wasn't that inappropriate, was it? Oh, damn,
Don't know.
maybe.
Might have been PG-13. Who knows?
Oh, damn.
What would your death row meal be? So this is starters, main sides, desserts, and then maybe a cheeky drink.
Oh my God. First of all, absolutely love this question. Never been asked this question before. Okay, let me think. Starters. Oh my God, my problem is I love all starters. I'm such a starter girl. I could just eat starters for the rest of my life. I think, I'm on the spot here, so I'm gonna say it's gonna be basic. No, I know what it is, sorry. It's gonna be garlic bread with mozzarella.
So delicious.
So delicious.
Good pick.
And then mains.
Yes.
This meal will not go together, but 100% it's got to be chili paneer with veg fried rice. You just can't go wrong with Chinese food.
Yeah.
Literally. And do you know what is shocking? So many people have not had Indo-Chinese food. I'm really trying to like get the word out. I just feel like we owe it to the people.
Yeah. You're getting the word out right now.
Listen, guys, you must try it.
Exactly. What about desserts and drink?
Okay, dessert. Do you know what? I'm not a sweet person, so I'm gonna say something like a cheese board. I am a sucker for a cheese board, so yeah.
Okay, fair.
And drink. Oh, drink. Oh my God, I'm so indecisive. A Coca-Cola, full fat, no ice, with a lemon.
Very specific,
Very
standard.
specific.
Love it. And final
Evidently.
question. Yeah, final question. Top five albums of all time.
Oh my God, this is a hard question, girl. You got me now. Top five albums of all time. Okay, Back to Black, Amy Winehouse. It's just a phenomenal album. I'm gonna say, trying to think. Do you know what? Purpose, Justin Bieber. I think that like really did something for me growing up. Trying to think. What else? Anti, Rihanna. I think that's a no skip album. She's just so cool for no reason. She is just insane, isn't she? Um, two more.
Yes.
Two more. Do you know what? Ray, my 21st album, no, my 21st Century Blues. That is an incredible album. And I feel like that like re-inspired me as an artist completely. And then last one, do you know, I'm not a massive album person, so this is hard for me. I'm gonna say like anything Frank Sinatra. I love Frank Sinatra. just any one of his albums will do. I just love them all.
The classics. I love the range. A lot of
Yeah,
different artists in
all of
there.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a little bit all over the place, but that's what it should
You
be.
can love it. Perfect. Thank you so
So,
much. Thank you so much for chilling with me and chatting with me today.
no, thank you. Honestly, I've had so much fun. I'm so glad that we got to do this.